Hi, my name is Arie Dijkstra, Professor Dijkstra. I'm the course coordinator of this bachelor course, Health Psychology. Welcome. This is gonna be a great course, I can tell you. And this video is the introduction of the course, not so much of the content, but the organization. So let's take a look. First, let's start just to be sure that you are at the right course. What is health psychology? Health psychology concerns all psychological processes that are directly or indirectly related to the causes or consequences of physical health and illness. There are more definitions, more types of definitions, broader definitions, but this is mine. This is what I like to work with. So this course has some learning goals for you, and they are also in the course documents I will show you in a minute. But here they are. You should be able, after this course, you should be able to describe the phenomena, health behavior, coping with illness, and changing behavior. You should be able to explain the most important theoretical perspectives to understand these phenomena. You should be able to reflect critically on the theoretical perspectives. You should be able to integrate the theoretical perspectives. And you should be able to apply the theoretical perspectives to real-world phenomena. So instead of just having knowledge, you should be able to visualize it, to explain it to others, to describe it to others. But also you should be able to work with it, evaluate the theories and make them one whole. Because reality is complex and you need more theories, an integration of theories to approach this complexity of reality. And in this course you will learn this by doing. There is an e-training, by reading and by modeling, looking at others and looking at me. What is my thinking? How do I think? How do I use my cognitive skills? So let's first take a little look at the expertise and understanding. When are you an expert? When do you really have enough understanding? Well, here you see, first let's see, we start with a psychological theory. And I will come to that later, what that is. So a psychological theory is not a vague or uncertain possibility, but it's a formal description of phenomena that are not easy to observe. And so psychologists use theories to describe the things that they are working with, that they want to be able to control or influence. Yeah, so we have the psychological theory. You should know and understand the psychological theories and then apply it to real world phenomena. Yeah, that's the one level of expertise. But to really understand what you are doing, you also need to be able to introspect. Yeah, when you don't know your own attitudes, when you don't know what pain is, it's very hard or maybe even impossible to understand what the psychological theory says about the real world phenomena. Then you are an academic. An academic works with evidence. So you should also be able to evaluate the type of evidence for certain applications of psychological theories. Therefore, you should be able to read scientific articles, and therefore you should be able to grasp basic scientific methodology. And on top of that, you can even become more of an expert when you do not apply one theory, but also other psychological theories. So the more psychological theories you know, and they will overlap, and you should know when they overlap and where they are unique, the more expertise you have. But also when you integrate it with other social sciences theories from sociology or economics, for example. You even become more of an expert when you also combine this with biological knowledge, and certainly in the field of health psychology. And when you combine it with theories from other disciplines like evolutionary theory. Yeah? So there's a whole build-up of when are you an expert. So, and this is one of the things you could strive for in this course. So then, because the question is, what do you want? Do you want to be a good or a bad academic professional? You know, we all know there are good lawyers and there are not so good lawyers, mediocre. We know there are good doctors, medical doctors, and there are also, well, not so good medical doctors. And that's the same with psychologists. There are very good psychologists and there are not so good psychologists. So, and the question is, what do you want to be? How do you want that people see you, perceive you? And honestly, how do you want to be as a person? Well, and that's the core of the motivation of processing all the information that you will be offered in this course. And as far as I'm concerned, it's really your choice. So let's see what professionals, also psychologists, what they do in practice. Here is a sequence, what we call the professional method. And it starts, well, you know it. It starts with assessing the problem, then determining what are the solutions, then preparing an intervention, something to solve the problem, then delivering the intervention or giving advice how to do that and evaluate the effects. So we have two professional products. Assessing the problem, that's a kind of diagnostic thing or an assessment or evaluation of a problem. That's often an end product of what psychologists give. Or they indeed provide a therapy or otherwise an intervention and campaign or advice. That's also a professional product. So what skills do you need to get there to provide those professional products? Well, here you see with some different coloring the skills. And the skills are here to be able to learn, to assess and determine and prepare interventions. You should be able to apply theories and to integrate theories. And all those things, they need your skills for storing and retrieving your knowledge and explaining it. Yeah, so here we see some cognitive skills that are the basis of the professional skills. The skills that help you to provide products, professional products for society. Okay, let's take a look at the course content. Let's see. First of all, we have 6 plenary meetings on Fridays, well, except on lecture 4, that will be on a Monday. There will be 5 times 2 individual assignments for you individually. It's self-managed. You use a personal log, and you have to report on it each week. And you have 5 group meetings each week, self-scheduled, live or online, whatever. Prepare with individual assignment and hand in a group assignment. Yeah, that's what this course will offer you for you to reach the learning goals and to learn and, well, to become this great expert. So here you see there are some actions you should be doing. Yeah, that's in the individual assignment. But also in the group you have to present. You should explain. Indeed, you have to explain in the group what theories you have studied. You should be able. You should also do the reading. You should listening to others and to me. You should model how do others do it, and you should just be thinking. So shoveling things in your head and making a structure. So let's take a look then at the course information. This is the document as a PDF. It is in Brightspace, you can see it. It provides an overview of all what this course offers. Some e-lectures from YouTube. There is electronic literature, of course, is available. And there will be those live lectures on Fridays and one on Monday. And here you see all the scientific literature. And there is the e-training. And as I said, the e-training has two parts. One for you individually. You have to do individual assignments, and then you have to report this in the group. In addition, in the group, you have to present and explain a theory to others. So you take your time to look at this all. It's all on Brightspace and all. So the time schedule is all on Brightspace. So the exam, there will be a multiple choice exam, and this will test your understanding, integrating and applying theories. Multiple choice exam, about at least 60 multiple choice questions with each 3 options, and you will be offered some practice examples during this course. So you will have to have at least a 5.5 on that. That's sufficient. 5.5 at the least. Then the second thing is that you have to have a sufficient e-training attendance. Yeah, I want you to fill in all the e-training reports, or actually I say all. You take a look in the e-training manual. There is some leniency in that, but this is mandatory. You should at least do a minimal number of e-training reporting individually, but also in the group. And your course grade, of course, then will be from 1 to 10. Yeah, so the grade will be based on the multiple choice, but you will only have a grade when you have sufficient training, e-training attendance. So it's not that complex, and as I said, the main documents are on Brightspace. Yeah, that's the course information and that's the e-training manual. So for now, please study and plan your schedule. Yeah, take some time, 30 minutes, just to look, all right, what does it take? What is the literature? How can you schedule this throughout the coming 7 weeks? How do you think about the assignment? When can you do them? You don't have to schedule all, but at least you should be able to have a rough idea of the coming 7 weeks. Do it now. Yeah, that's not in a few weeks, but do it now. It will take you 30 minutes and will help you a lot. So then watch the e-lecture part 2 video. Well, this was part 1. Well, and then you see the part 2, that's the introduction in health psychology. Start reading the weekly literature. Take a look at it. And it's not, when you really chop it up in pieces, then it's not that much. All students before you did it. Then do the e-training assignments. Also for coming week, there will be e-training assignments available on Brightspace. You will see them on Brightspace. Follow Brightspace every day. prepare your group meeting presentation, because you will have to present a certain theory or theories in the group meeting, also the first time. All right. That was it. I see you the next time, and I see you live. Bye.